Portfolio Manager with Clear Result. Thank you all for joining us today for a demo of the new virtual home energy evaluation. Just like the rest of our leadership team, I've been with this group since we first launched the in-home energy evaluation program back in 2009. I was here for the eScore rollout in 2014, and it's exciting to be here today as we launch this next generation of home energy evaluation and inspection services as part of the TVA Energy Right program. So for starters, on behalf of the entire team at Clear Result, thank you so much for the opportunity to serve your members and customers for so many years. I really mean that. We fully appreciate the importance of the LPC customer and member relationships, and we always do our very best to represent the LPCs, particularly turnkey LPCs, in the best light at all times. After the presentation today, I hope you'll all agree that we have a new opportunity here that can further enhance the benefits available to your members and customers through TVA Energy Right. So I'm going to go over a few slides introducing the new service for about 10 minutes. We'll move straight into a live demo, and then we'll save plenty of time at the end for questions and answers. So before I jump into the slides, I'll give you just a little bit of background. Clear Result began working with Stream back in 2019 to develop a virtual assessment and assurance option for the programs we administer, not to replace in-home services, but as another way to expand customer choice in how they engage with their utilities that we represent across North America. We didn't predict the pandemic, nor did we quickly dream up this new service in reaction to it. We're just constantly looking for ways to advance the industry and stay on the leading edge. So when COVID-19 hit, we just happened to be well prepared with a solution in our back pocket. And we weren't quite ready to push this out the door immediately, but like Brad mentioned, we were well on our way and expedited the timeline to get it out fast. And even after things get back to normal with in-home visits, we believe some customers will always prefer this type of virtual service over an in-person service. So this tool has the potential to help us stay busy now when social distancing is important and many people are less inclined to invite a stranger into their homes. But it's also a way to supplement and enhance the residential services offered by the LPCs and TVA, even after things get back to normal. All right, next slide, please. Okay. So a virtual home energy evaluation is not much different from an in-home energy evaluation. We look at all the same areas, we score them the same way, we give the same advice and education. The only difference is we're not actually sending a home energy advisor to the customer's home. Instead, we utilize a live augmented reality remote support platform called Stream. It's like FaceTime with live video, like I'm sure some of you have used, but it has many more features specifically designed for this type of work, making it a much better tool for the purposes we need it for. Some of the key features of using Stream include remote home energy evaluations. So while the evaluations are performed remotely, it's the same professional and experienced BPI trained home energy advisors that normally perform in-home evaluations. And the prior in-home experience is really important. Most home energy advisors with Clear Result and the LPCs have been doing energy evaluations for many years. So there's a bunch of experience. I know just about all the Clear Result advisors have been over 1,000 homes. And whether it's in person or virtual, they know which areas are important to see. They know how to score those areas, and they know how to make the most appropriate upgrade recommendations. So with this new tool, we're able to leverage that prior in-home experience to deliver a high-quality virtual experience for your customers. Another feature is direct customer engagement. And one valuable benefit of this new process we really love is that the level of customer engagement often increases with the virtual evaluation, simply because the homeowner is required to be present and engaged throughout the process. Unlike the typical in-home evaluation, the homeowner walks through the house with the advisor as the home is being evaluated. And the homeowner engages with the home energy advisor the whole time instead of the normal process of waiting to the end to sit down at the kitchen table to review the findings and recommendations. The tool is very intuitive. So the local Clear Result team's been working with the tool for less than 2 months. We're already comfortable rolling it out across the valley, and we're ready to get the LPC managed advisors trained up soon so we can have full coverage across the valley. And another benefit is lower delivery costs. Think about drive time for a normal evaluation. The advisor might have to drive 30 minutes or more to the appointment and then 30 minutes back when it's over. That's 1 hour or more dedicated only to drive time. With the virtual evaluation, you cut out the drive time. And when we have the customer engaging with the advisor throughout the process, blending the evaluation and education, the evaluations usually take less time to complete. So an advisor has capacity to do more evaluations in a single day. Then there are more savings like fuel costs, vehicle maintenance, insurance. None of those costs apply when the service is delivered virtually. Next slide, please. So we're confident that both LPCs and customers are going to find new value and benefits with the virtual home energy evaluations. From the LPC perspective, we're able to keep home energy evaluation programs running, meeting customer needs. For anyone with field staff, like ClearResult and the LPCs, the stay-at-home restrictions have been a major challenge. This new option allows us to get up and running even while we're unable to schedule on-site visits. The tool provides an option for greatly reduced human contact. There's no in-person contact, only virtual human contact by phone, email, and stream. And with fewer vehicles going to on-site appointments, carbon emissions are reduced. I already reviewed some of the lower delivery costs, but there also reduced liabilities. All the automobile insurance and liability insurance we have in place for the in-person visits is not needed for virtual services, and there's no risk of the advisor accidentally damaging something in the customer homes. Another benefit we really like at ClearResult is increased flexibility in how we utilize our home energy advisors. It doesn't matter where an advisor is based. So for example, we can have an advisor in Nashville do a virtual evaluation for a customer in Tupelo. No problem with no travel costs. As long as they have a good signal, they can do it from anywhere. And LPC managed LPCs will see similar benefits on a smaller scale within your service areas. It's a really nice benefit. From the customer perspective, there's also plenty of added value. The flexibility on the LPC side also translates into benefits for the customers, giving them more choice and options. So without drive time in the morning and evening, the home energy advisors can perform appointments a little earlier, a little later in the day to match customer schedules. So if a customer wants to do a virtual evaluation first thing in the morning before work or after they get back home, we're more equipped to meet their scheduling needs. And since customers have access to any one of our advisors, no matter where they're located, they have more appointment slots available so they can have it done when they want it done. Of course, there's the primary reason we're rolling out this new service. The advisors do not need to physically enter the home. Right now, there's an obvious safety concern with COVID-19, but that's not the only safety concern. Whether legitimate or not, some people are always hesitant to invite a stranger into their home, such as a home energy advisor who's going to walk through every room. Think about a woman who lives alone. She might have concerns like this. And with a virtual evaluation, all those concerns are eliminated and the service becomes more accessible to more of your customers. And finally, customers have increased control and privacy compared to an in-home appointment. As you'll see in the live demo, the customer has the option at any time to pause the audio or video. During the evaluation, if there's anything in the home, any rooms or conversations that the customer wants to keep private, they just hit pause and they have complete privacy until they unpause. And I think there are going to be some customers that value this extra feature. Next slide, please. All right. So we launched our very first 2 virtual home energy evaluations with 2 well-respected consultants who have a long-standing relationship with TVA. We decided to begin with these 2 because we know they know the industry inside and out, and we knew they would provide honest feedback to help us determine our readiness level, but also help identify areas that needed more development. We started with Jim Purcell, former energy services manager with Nashville Electric Service. Jim's seen many energy audits in his time, so he was naturally inclined to compare the virtual experience to an in-person evaluation. His quote we thought to be most valuable was, "I don't feel like the advisor missed seeing any detail he could not have seen in person." This comment directly addresses something many of you may be thinking. Can we actually do a professional energy evaluation without being physically present at the home? Jim thinks so, and we completely agree. Mary Day with Tradewind Group was our second participant. Later on that same day, Mary and her company have used a variety of market research techniques over the years, helping guide the development of many energy right programs. I know she worked on designing the in-home energy evaluation program. She also helped out with eScore as well. So she knows what we do. She knows where we come from. So we definitely wanted to get her opinion before taking this out to a larger group. And Mary's feedback focused in on the customer experience, specifically noting how easy it was from the customer perspective, which is something we haven't really discussed much yet. It really is easy for a customer to do this. Of course, they do need a smartphone, but that's about it. They don't need to be technologically savvy. It's all very intuitive from the customer perspective, just like it is for the advisors. Mary's comments explain how easy it is, describing how the home energy advisor guides the entire process and works together with the homeowner all the way through the process, really highlighting the benefits of the conversational approach that naturally occurs when using this tool, which is one of the differences from an in-person evaluation that makes virtual such a great option. So next slide, please. Okay, so here's the timeline. We started off in the NES area, beginning with a safe group of NES customers, including Clear Result employees, friends, and family. We also encouraged NES to have any interested employees try it out, and you all may want to do the same thing when this launches in your area. So that was May 4th for the hand-selected NES customers and staff. Then on May 18th, that was the beginning of last week, we expanded the offering to include all NES customers. We've been maintaining a list of evaluations we had to postpone due to COVID-19, so we reached out to all those customers. We also emailed all NES customers in the system to make them aware of the offer. Some customers jumped on the offer, others preferred to wait for an in-home visit, and that's totally fine. This is just another option where they can have it their way. EPB has been identified as the first LPC managed LPC to receive training on the tool, and we're committing a lot of resources to make that happen the right way. Just like field work, the best way to achieve an exceptional customer experience with the virtual tool, which is very important to all of us at the Clear Result team, is to make sure the home energy advisors get lots of practice. And we found that practice with this tool really can't happen in a group setting. It needs to be one-on-one practice with the Stream tool and a practice customer, one virtual evaluation at a time. So it is time consuming and it takes some man hours, but it's necessary to get to a professional level that your customers and members will value. And the Clear Result team is committed to helping the LPC managed advisors get the same level of practice as our own advisors. So the plan is to begin with EPB, get a better understanding of what their team needs for the training, and then refine the training plans and roll it out to the other LPC managed teams. On June 1st, while we continue working with EPB, we'll be expanding the offer across the valley to all turnkey LPC customers. Then on June 8th, we'll be ready to start training more LPC managed advisors. Like I mentioned, the one-on-one training is the best way. So it's probably going to be a phased training schedule, gradually rolling in all the LPCs. We won't be able to do it all at once just because there are over 60 LPC managed advisors. But we're just about ready, and we're committed to making sure that they're all well prepared. On July 1st, we'll begin making virtual home energy evaluations available across the valley. Of course, LPC managed, making the offer available to their customers when they're ready. And I know this is a fast timeline, and because of that, we're prepared to flex and evolve as we need to help your advisors learn. And as Clear Result advisors learn tips and tricks with the tool, we'll definitely share those details with the LPC advisors to make this offering as strong and consistent as possible. Next slide, please. Okay, so we haven't talked much about inspections today, but they are also coming soon. We started with evaluations because they all work the same, and it's a good way to learn how to use the virtual tool. Inspections are a little more complicated. There are more variables and differences from one type of upgrade to the next. So it's taking some more time with those. But from where we stand today, we're confident we'll be ready to deliver a high quality professional inspection, which is very important to us, and we'll be ready very soon. So as of now, our plan is to make virtual inspections available to all turnkey LPC customers July 1st, and we'll begin phasing in LPC managed LPCs around a month later, so around August 1st. We're working to be ready sooner than that, but only if all stakeholders are ready to go. Next slide, please. All right, so enough with the intro. We're excited to show you all how this new tool works. So I'm going to hand this over now to Jason and Aaron for the live demo. Jason and Aaron, take it away.
Thanks, Tom. So we will jump into the live demo. I'm really excited to show you the Stream tool, exactly how that works and how we can use it to connect with customers and members across the Valley. So what you're looking at on the left-hand side of the screen is my web browser. I'm using Google Chrome. That's what we recommend for the best experience. But that's all that I need to get started. I don't have to have any special equipment in order to be able to do that. Also, on the right side of my screen, you'll be able to see a live feed of Aaron's cell phone that he's going to be using to complete this audit. One thing that's important to remember as we go through this is that from the customer experience, everything that they see is what their cell phone camera sees. So Aaron is going to be looking directly at his phone, and it's going to be a crystal clear picture. What you will be seeing on the right-hand side of the screen is I have connected with Aaron through Skype, and so you'll be seeing a Skype translation of his cell phone screen, and then ultimately that picture is being translated through WebEx to you all. So if there's a slight delay in what Aaron is seeing and ultimately what you're seeing, it's only because we're having to pass this through several different layers to get this to you. But Stream is a great tool to connect customers and home energy experts, and it allows us to keep the same high quality energy evaluations that customers have come to expect through the Energy Right programs. And we will also be able to deliver the home energy report and e-score at the end of this appointment, just like we always do in our in-home appointments. So to start the process, scheduling is really simple. It will be the exact same scheduling process that we use to schedule in-home appointments. So for turnkey customers, they'll call our contact center and schedule their appointment that way. And if they are LPC managed, then customers will be able to schedule the same way that they normally do. And just a reminder to keep yourself on mute so that to try and keep the background noise to a minimum. So once we schedule the appointment, we will 24 to 48 hours before the appointment, we're having our energy advisor send an introductory email to the customer, letting them know what to expect during their virtual audit, and also introducing the advisor that's going to be doing the audit with a picture and a short bio about them. I feel like this is really important because one thing about Stream is that it's a one-way video feed. So we will be being able to see what the customer shows us, but the customer won't be able to see the energy advisor. So we feel like it's really important to try and create that personal connection with the advisor that's going to be conducting the audit and the customer. We also send a checklist of items that the customer should consider before starting their home energy assessment and some simple data collection that they can do so that we can try and reduce the amount of time that we are on Stream, since we will be using the customer's data on their home energy, on their home connection internet plan or their mobile connection plan. So we want to try and be aware of how much time we're spending on Stream. But then once we're ready to connect, the energy advisor will call the customer before on their cell phone to ensure that they're ready to connect with them, be able to do some basic interview, let them know what to expect, and then they can start the assessment, the energy evaluation. So to start that evaluation, they will need to log into Stream, and they'll receive login credentials. So they'll use their email and their password in order to log in. And once they log in, it's a really simple, clean interface. So they'll be able to see all the past connections that they've made through the Stream tool. It keeps a log of every call that they've done. And then they can also click this blue Invite to Stream button at the top to connect with a customer. So to connect, all they need to do is enter the customer's name, their cell phone number, and a reference number. What we're using for these connections is the site ID from eScore to help us connect the customer's account with the Stream session. So, but for this purpose, I'm just going to put in test call, and I'll click send invite. Now, once I click send, you'll notice that on the right side of the screen that Aaron will receive a text message from Stream, and it says that I am trying to connect with him through Stream, and all he has to do is tap on the URL to connect. So on the customer's end, they don't have to download any special software or anything to connect, which is one of the benefits of doing this over Skype or FaceTime or Google Duo, anything like that, where they would have to download some sort of app in order to do that, or things like FaceTime that are platform dependent. As long this connects with any customer who has an Apple or Android phone. Once they click on the link, they will click on the blue Get Started button. And the first thing that they will see is the opportunity to review the terms and conditions for both Stream and the Energy Right Agreement to participate. They can click the links to view any of those documents, and then click the boxes to turn them blue, and then click Accept. So once Aaron clicks Accept, it's going to check to make sure that he's given permissions for his phone and his camera and microphone to be accessed. If Aaron's done this before, so he can bypass that. If it's a customer's first time through, it will ask them for permission to access their phone, their microphone and camera. And then all he has to do is click on Start Stream. So when Aaron clicks that button, it'll start calling, and you'll be able to see on my screen over on the left that I'm receiving a phone call from Aaron. So by clicking the green phone button, it'll start that connection. So right now we are connecting up, and just give it 1 second to ultimately connect, and we'll be able to see Aaron's video feed. So perfect. So Aaron, you should be able to hear me on your end now. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. All right. So Aaron can hear, and as you can see, just a reminder, on the right side of the screen is a live view of what Aaron is seeing through his phone. And on the right-hand side, on the left-hand side of the screen is the live feed that I can see as the energy advisor. So before we get started with customers, we always want to let them know that privacy and safety are our top concern. So Aaron, on the bottom of your screen, you have a few buttons that allow you to control the privacy of the experience. So the button on the right is a speaker button, and by pushing that, it will mute your line so that I can't hear what you're saying. So if you need to have a private conversation, you can do that. And then on the left side, you have a camera, and by pressing that button, it will pause the video feed. So on Aaron's side, his screen goes black, and on my side, I get a notification that says that Aaron has disabled his camera. But even though his camera is muted, I can still communicate with Aaron. So Aaron, we also want to make sure that you're staying safe. So as you go upstairs, make sure you're holding on to handrails. And as you walk throughout your home, make sure you're paying attention to your surroundings. Feel free to put your phone in your pocket as you move throughout the house. We want to make sure that you're looking where you're walking, not looking where you're walking through the phone. And one other thing that's important to call out is that we're going to be showing you some things that we can do during an energy assessment, but keep in mind that we're not going to be doing a full energy assessment of Aaron's home today, just for the sake of time and for this demo. So Aaron is first going to be heading into his attic to help us get some information, take a look at his attic insulation, and take a look at his air handler. I have a few tools on my side that I can use to guide Aaron. The first one is this button here. It's a laser pointer that I can use to call out certain things. So I could say, for example, Aaron, let's take a look at this data plate on your air handler here. And as you can see, as I draw on my screen with my mouse, it puts this red dot that tracks with my mouse, and Aaron can see that red dot moving on his screen. I also have one of the unique features of Stream. It's called Streamshot. So here on the right, if I click on this camera button, it will take a picture on Aaron's side. So you may not have noticed it on his side, but pay attention again on the right side of my screen here. When I click Streamshot, Aaron will see a camera icon flash on his screen, and that's his visual indication that I've taken a picture. So I'm going to take this one more time, 3, 2, 1, click, and you'll be able to see that flash indication on Aaron's phone. One of the great things about Stream is that the Streamshot tool allows us to take photos even if the quality of the connection is poor. So you'll notice here in the upper left-hand side of my screen that I can track the connection that we have. Right now we have full bars with Aaron, so we have a really great connection. But if the connection quality was poor and we were having really grainy video feed, we can use Streamshot to still capture high quality photos of his home. And what it actually does is, instead of taking a screenshot, it's actually taking a photo using the customer's camera and then uploading that photo back to the service. And then if I scroll down on my screen a little bit, I can see the photos that I've captured. Okay, so Aaron, if you'll keep, let's go and take a look at the condenser for your HVAC system. So if you don't mind heading downstairs. Another tool that I have is the ability to gather GPS coordinates. So we don't see this being used all the time, but especially for things like inspections, it may be really valuable to,
I'm gonna need a roommate.
it'll be really valuable to know the exact location. Just a reminder to mute yourselves. So what I can do is I can tap on this GPS icon, and I can hit request, and it'll pop up a request on Aaron's screen saying that we're requesting the GPS coordinates for your location. Aaron can either choose to allow that or not allow that. By clicking allow, it'll pull in the GPS location and address of where Aaron is located. One other tool that I have, just like the laser pointer, is something called Quick Draw. And Quick Draw allows me to draw on the customer's screen, and instead of a red laser, it'll draw a blue box and it'll linger on the customer's screen. So I could say, let's take a look at one of these data plates here on your screen. I'm not sure which one it is. Perfect. And as you can see, it'll linger and then eventually fade out. So it can help us really draw attention to certain areas. And then I can use Streamshot to take a picture. Another tool that Stream gives us is that by using Streamshot, it uses machine learning and optical character recognition, called OCR, to extract characters from the photo. So when I end my stream, I can go back in and view my photos, and it will automatically extract model numbers, serial numbers, and manufacturers from those data plates, so that if you want to copy that information either into the eScore system or to include in the report, you can do that. Perfect. So Aaron's going to let us take a look at some of his ductwork here. And so I can see here where these takeoffs connect to the main supply line, that you may want to consider using mastic paste to create a tight seal there. So mastic, it's a paste that you can put on with a paintbrush, and it'll harden like concrete to really seal up a lot of those connection lines and keep the conditioned air and areas that you want that conditioned air to go. So we can take a picture of that, and then we can include that in our report at the end of, include that in our report. Perfect. Thanks, Aaron. So once we're done with the energy evaluation, we also have the ability through Chrome and a Chrome extension to be able to extract all the photos out of Stream. And then with the deployment of Stream, we'll also be deploying a new version of the eScore field tool that our energy advisors use in the field. And in addition to a lot of new features that we've included and an improved AI, or UI, excuse me, we'll also have the ability to upload photos from Stream to the phone and then upload those directly from the camera roll into the customer's eScore report. Aaron, let's also, while we're here in your kitchen, let's take a look at your refrigerator. So if you don't mind taking a look to your left, we'll just come in here, and then on the right side of your screen, or up at the top, perfect. There's that model plate there, so that we can get a picture of that information. Perfect. Thank you very much. So we're really excited about what Stream allows us to do. As you can see, it's a really simple process. I have a simple user interface on my side, as well as the customer. And Stream gives us the opportunity to do things with customers and not just for customers. In the past, we've offered in-home evaluations that have been a service that we provide for our customers and our members, but now this really allows us to do things with them in a way that we've never done before. The customer becomes our eyes and ears through the home, and we also can leverage their other senses. So when we look in crawl spaces, being able to ask, does it smell musty or anything in the crawl space that could help give us some ideas about whether there's mold or water that we need, concerns that we need to address. And it brings the customer along for the ride. So instead of saving all of our information for the very end and sitting down at the kitchen table, we can provide that information throughout the experience and not depend on photos to tell the story, but they can see it with their own eyes. So before I disconnect, I wanted to see with Aaron, I didn't know if there were any features that anyone had that that I could point out about Stream, or any questions that anybody had. And then if not, I'll show you what happens after the Stream session ends, and then we can open it up for general Q&A about the entire process. Okay, well, we'll end this Stream session, and then I'll show you what happens next, and then we'll open it up for general Q&A after that. So to end the Stream session, I can either click the end call button, or the customer, since the customer is always in control, they can also end the Stream session as well. But Aaron, I'm going to end the session with you now. So thanks for participating in the Energy Right program. Really appreciate your time. So when I click end session, on my side, it will start processing that. On Aaron's side, he'll be presented with a survey. So we're going to be presenting a couple of questions to the customer. The first one is how they would rate it on a scale of 1 to 5 of how likely they are to recommend. Aaron's giving us a 5, which is excellent. He can click submit. And then it'll also present him with a few additional questions that he can choose to answer, or he can bypass. So the first one is a Net Promoter Score question. They're transitioning from their 1 to 5 scale to the 1 to 10. Was there anything that you found difficult or that you couldn't do? Anything that was surprisingly, that went well or surprisingly well is the next question. And then the final question is there anything else that you'd like to share with us today? You can either answer those questions or skip them. And then once you're done and you hit submit, it directs the customer to the energyright.com residential page, where they can get more information about the program, connecting with contractors, and other services that are offered through the Energy Right program. On my side, as the energy advisor, I can click into the details of that call. Like I had mentioned, it will extract model numbers and serial numbers from the photo. So I can see here that it extracted the model and serial number from Aaron's refrigerator, the model number and serial number associated with the condenser unit on his HVAC system, and it will pull all that information out of the system. And then the video is also available for replay. So everything that I captured, our conversation and the video was captured in the system, and then I can use like I said, a Chrome extension to extract all of this information out to be able to incorporate into the customer's report. So that's all that we have lined up for the demo today. I will turn it back over to Brad to see if there are any questions that have come in during the conversation, or feel free to unmute yourselves and we can answer any questions that you all may have about the service.
Thanks, Jason. This is Brad again. Before we get into questions, I just want to make a couple quick comments. The first one, I just wanted to clear up some dates that were mentioned at the beginning. I just want to make sure it's clear. We plan to launch this in turnkey areas July 1st. I'm sorry, I've done it again. June 1st. June 1st is Monday. So we plan to launch in turnkey areas on Monday, June 1st, and then in LPC managed areas in July. So that's the plan right now. For LPC managed, you have the option whether you want to offer this or not. Your customer delivery representative will be getting with you soon with details on that. If this is a service that you want to offer, and we hope that you do, Clear Result will be providing training for this virtual tool, so you'll be able to offer that to your customers. If it's something that you don't want to offer to your customers, you surely don't have to. So there'll be more information coming from your customer delivery representative in the coming days. And then I just want to make just kind of one comment that wasn't touched on here. We're really excited about this tool. So you've seen a live demo. This is a really cool tool. I think customers are going to love it. It gives us a whole new way that we are able to, that you all are able to connect with your customers. We can help them in ways that we can't do right now because we're not entering homes because of COVID-19 and things like that. Being able to do virtual evaluations and eventually virtual inspections are really great. But we see this as a tool that will enable us to change the way that we do business and the way that we interact with customers. So this opens up a lot of doors for all of us here on the call today. I mean, it's not only just evaluations and inspections. There's other applications as this thing kind of evolves and we get more comfortable with it and it gets going. You know, potentially we could give real-time advice to customers. If a customer's HVAC goes out and they need some real-time advice and they don't know if they should call a contractor or whatever, or if they're thinking about replacing their windows but they don't necessarily know if they need to replace them or not, we could potentially hook them up with one of the trained advisors who have been part of this program for years. They can get on their smartphone through the virtual tool, get some real-time advice, and then, you know, potentially if the advisor says, yeah, I think you need windows, we could, you know, maybe we could blast a recording of that conversation, of that video out to the contractor network, and we maybe could get customers a quote from several different contractors without ever rolling a truck. So we don't know if that's possible yet, but these are just the kind of the things that we're thinking about, ways that we can serve the customer using this tool. We think this is going to open up a lot of doors. So we're really excited about it. We hope you enjoy the demo, and we hope you're as excited as we are. So I'll stop talking there and just open it up for questions. If you want to use the raise hand feature, you can do that. Or if you want to just unmute and ask your question, that's fine too.
And I muted the folks on the phone from my end. So I'm going to unmute those. Just make sure if you're calling in on the phone that you're muted on your side.
Hi, this is Paula from Nashville Electric Service. I have one question, and that's about not having been through an in-home evaluation before myself. Was one of the tests that you would normally do in person checking infrared doing an infrared scan to see where heat loss or heat transfer may be occurring, or where there may be air leaks, and how do you address that with a virtual evaluation?
Hi, Paula. Yeah, so infrared is not something, it is a useful tool for an energy audit. It's not something that we use with our in-home evaluation. So we would not be obviously doing it with a virtual evaluation either.
This is Jeff at Middle
What about
Tennessee
the air
Electric.
leaks, though?
I heard Jeff first. Go ahead, Jeff, and then we'll get to the next person.
Yes, so wondering for LPC managed programs out there, if we decide to use this with Clear Results and Stream, is there a charge for us?
No, there's not.
Okay, thank you.
I think somebody else had a question. Feel free to jump in there.
It's Paula. It was just a follow-up about the air leaks. I understand that you said you didn't do the infrared like I had thought you did, but what about looking for air leaks and things like that?
Yes, well, the air sealing, the need for air sealing is definitely something that we look for. So our advisors, like I mentioned, they've been in so many houses. They know which areas to look at. A lot of the opportunities are in attics and crawl spaces. So for the best evaluation of your air sealing needs, we would need to get into the attic or crawl space. Some customers may not be willing or able to do that in a virtual appointment, and it may not be the best type of evaluation for them if they have particular concerns with air sealing. There's still a lot we can look at, though, to just understanding the age of the home. We can look under the sinks. We can look around the window casings, that sort of thing. So there are plenty of areas we can do a pretty good evaluation without getting into the attic and crawl space. But if a customer's has specific concerns about air leakage, being able to get into the attic and crawl space is important. Some customers can do that, and we can do a great virtual evaluation and get them good recommendations. If they're unable to access that, we may recommend that they sign up for an in-person evaluation.
Yeah, and I'll just add too. So this tool is not in any way meant to replace in-person evaluations. There's still going to be applications where a customer may be rural and have limited, Wi-Fi capabilities, or they may not have a smartphone, things like that. So the in-person evaluation is still going to exist. This is just an extra tool in our belt. It's just one more tool that we have to interact with the customers. If the customer prefers in person, we're happy to continue doing in person. If the customer doesn't want somebody entering their home, especially now, then we've got this virtual tool available where we can continue to serve the customer without ever entering their home. So we'll still do either or. Each option will be available to the customer. The customer has the choice. They can tell us which way they want to go. What other questions are there?
Hi, this is Lance Irwin with EPB. Thanks for the demo. It's a great tool, it looks like. Questions around branding. So I noticed it was branded Energy Right TVA. And then is there an option to co-brand? And then also the landing page at the end, is there an option to change that?
Jason, do you know about that?
Yeah. Unfortunately, the current configuration of the way Stream is set up is that it's all based on the subdomain that's set up. So in order to do that, we would have to pay for additional licenses for different subdomains. So currently, the TVA Energy Right branding is the only option that's available, but it may be something that is available down the road. But But as of right now, the currently the only option available is for TVA Energy Right. Looks like we had a question come in from the chat as well. So Tom, if you want to speak to this, how will the safety liability issues about customers climbing into attics and crawl spaces be addressed?
Well, yeah, that's definitely a concern, and we want to make sure that customers are safe. When they need to feel safe before they go into attics and crawl spaces themselves. We tell them to, when you're doing this kind of thing, don't carry the phone out in front of you, put it in your pocket, and watch your step, just like you would when you weren't doing a virtual evaluation. So it would be handled like that. Of course, there's of course the agreement to participate, which is signed off on before they even begin. There is a liability release in there. We don't want anybody to get hurt, though. That's always at top of mind, and we talk through the customers with that to make sure that they're aware of their surroundings as they walk through their house.
Yeah, and before the call begins, when Clear Results talking through them, I mean, it's made clear to the customer they're in control of this. If they're uncomfortable going into a crawl space or an attic, they don't have to do that. It's similar. They'll handle this similarly to how they handle an in-person evaluation today. If they can't access an attic or a crawl space, it's scored a 5 with additional comments and recommendations and things like that. So if a customer is uncomfortable climbing into their attic or going into a crawl space or something that's going to be a safety concern, they definitely don't have to do that. We'll score them a 5, make recommendations, and then they can just get the more detailed feedback on the other areas of the house that they're more comfortable, walking through. So we've got 9 more minutes. Are there any other questions? I won't hold everybody up on the call if the questions were answered, but we definitely want to make sure we address questions or concerns while we're all here. So please go ahead and ask those. And if you don't want to specifically come off mute and call it out, you can always use the chat feature to ask your questions. Okay, well, if there's no more questions, we'll go ahead and wrap up. If you do have questions, if you think of some after we end this call, please reach out to your customer delivery representative, your DRM. They'll be happy to get you answers to your questions. We're excited to launch this thing. Thank you for joining today. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we do, and there'll be a lot more information to come as we go forward with this. Clear Result team, do you guys have any closing comments before we end?
Just thank you all again for the opportunity to roll this out to your customers. We're excited, and we're looking forward to it. And let us know if we can do anything to help. If any more questions, feel free to send them on through Brad, and we'll do our best to get you the information you need.
Great. Thank you all. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thank you.